For many of us, especially those watching this channel right now, we have been noticing for a while. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. I'll get to it in a little bit of a deeper view in a second here. But this is YouTube, and this is a very sensitive topic, so I have to be very, very careful with my word choice on this one. But yeah, for those watching this channel, I'm sure the majority of you know what I'm talking about already. Noticing, right? Especially with the title of this video. I'm sure you can put it together. And, YouTube blocked off topic, not something we're allowed to talk about on here. So, again, I'm going to be very careful with my word choice throughout this video, but just bear with me, and you're going to have to do a little bit of inferencing. But for a while, look, those of us on this YouTube channel, the schizo side of the internet, we've been noticing, we know what's going on. But for like 90% of the people, they either have a full on mental breakdown if you start talking about this, because they are incredibly emotionally tied to this topic, or they just don't care, right? Or they just like, okay, sure, dude, you keep being a schizo, and then they move on with their lives. The majority of people, they're not into it. They don't get what's going on at all. They don't notice anything. They don't realize, hey, look, this specific group of people is disproportionately represents every single aspect of America. Every single one. And that goes for the entire Western world. They are disproportionately everywhere. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to a site called let's see. I think YouTube will be fine with this. Go to a site called Jewish Contributions. It's a site run by, I believe, Jewish people to brag about their accomplishments, right? And you will see how much representation they have, which is a very good thing, by the way. I'm all for them completely overrepresenting our community and our culture and controlling a lot of things, because that is very good, YouTube. I am a very big fan of this. I have nothing negative to say about that. Okay, so now you're caught up a little bit, right? You know, some of us were noticing. Most people just didn't really realize what was going on, or they were emotionally tied and would have a full-on breakdown calling you an anti-Semite if you even questioned anything. But all of a sudden, a change is happening, a drastic change. And this has came on extremely unexpectedly and somewhat out of nowhere. So, not all that long ago, Israel made the decision to start bombing Palestinians. Palestinian children, bombing their hospitals, killing babies, leaving orphans, attacking civilians. Why did they do this? Because reportedly, Hamas did a terror attack. But people are starting to realize something. Israel isn't the most honest nation. They're starting to realize, hey, they are making up all these incredibly brutal stories that Hamas is doing to them. They're trying to play the victim card here, and oh wait, it's not working, because this time people are realizing, oh shoot, all this information has no evidence and nothing is actually backing it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, just I'm sure many of us remember this story, for example, the beheaded baby story. Apparently, 48 babies, 40 little Israeli babies were beheaded by Hamas because Hamas are just crazy animals. These Palestinians are crazy animals. So they went and beheaded all these little Israeli babies. But then people were like, hey, do you have any evidence for this? And they were like, no, if you don't believe us, you're a Nazi. So then, these questioners were like, okay, call me what you want. And then a month later, it starts to come out, hey, Israel starts to say, oh, yeah, we have no evidence for these babies. We have no reason to think they're dead. We don't know who these babies are. There's no evidence of them. There's not even an evidence of their existence. We don't know who these kids were. We don't know anything about them. It's like, oh, maybe Israel is making this stuff up. And all of a sudden, that starts something. All of a sudden, people are like, oh, if Israel is willing to lie about this, I wonder what else they're willing to lie about. So all of a sudden, you have a bunch of normie people that are starting to notice. And it doesn't help that Israel is doing things like this. They are attacking hospitals that is leaving literally babies dying due to a lack of oxygen because they're attacking these hospitals and shutting off their power. By the way, this story isn't completely accurate. So far, one baby has died, and I believe it's 39 babies are at risk, or it's one baby has died and 38 babies are at risk of dying because they don't have oxygen all of a sudden because Israel is attacking civilians. So yeah, this story was a little bit misrepresented because somebody in the media misspoke, and all of a sudden that went everywhere, obviously. But they don't really care about this. They don't care that all these babies are at risk of dying. By the way, 40 babies, come on. Come on. Yeah, you lie about these 40 babies, and all of a sudden you start attacking hospitals that is literally leaving 40 babies at risk of dying. Like you guys are monsters, literal monsters. This is evil, the epitome of evil. And when you commit evil acts, all of a sudden people aren't on your side as much. So then when you try to play the victim card, people are like, "Hey, are you maybe lying?" And then all of a sudden they start noticing. That's just what's bound to happen. And if you don't believe me that people are noticing, because I mean it's everywhere, right? If you're in public, I'm sure you're like, "Oh yeah, you're right, dude. People are noticing." But if you don't believe me, I want you to look at something. Europa: The Last Battle, right? It is a World War II documentary told from a different perspective than the normal one. I'm going to be a little bit careful with my words here because, again, YouTube. So, yeah, we have that. But Europa: The Last Battle, I want to show you these search trends. This is over the last 5 years I have right here. The last 5 years, you can see at about August of 2022, we see a spike in interest, and these numbers aren't like views per day or anything. That would be really low. This is like interest over time. So we can see this interest has completely spiked over the last year, and it has stayed up, and it keeps it's staying pretty consistent. It's staying consistently up. And why is that? Maybe because people are starting to notice. This word is starting to spread. And another big thing, it's not just Israel, it's been a compound of effects that have led to this. A big one was actually Kanye being willing to come out and talk. Kanye was willing to come out and talk, and all of a sudden, hey, people start noticing. That's why this is about 2022 that this is increasing. The work of Kanye West himself. And you can see there's a lot of these sites that are starting to break out all of a sudden. IMBD is breaking out. Okay, never mind. I don't know why I said that one. That's just the movie site that people found Europa on. My bad. BitChute. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. BitChute is breaking out. If you don't know, that's kind of like an underground channel site where they can actually talk about things that aren't so accepted on YouTube, like what I'm talking about now. Check out breakout number 5. I wonder what could be causing that. And by the way, a breakout topic means it has a 500% increase, or not 5,000% increase in interest by people searching on Google. So, yeah, number 5 here, 5,000% increase. BitChute, 5,000% increase. The Greatest Story Never Told, another World War II documentary. And by the way, I'm not even promoting this stuff. I'm not promoting these documentaries. I've never even seen The Greatest Story Never Told, and I've only seen part of Europa. But I'm not promoting these, but I'm just pointing out, hey, people are noticing. People are starting to question. People are starting to be like, hey, if they're lying about these babies, if they're playing the victim, if they have a history of lying towards their allies through their entire history, what else could this group of people possibly be lying about? So now they're starting to look. And then look at breakout topic number 1 here. Yeah, that guy, silly mustache man. Number 4 again, BitChute. Um, Okay. Russia's breaking out, obviously, with the war and everything, along with support for Russia. And then, yeah, nothing too interesting there. Again, decapitation. That's related to the babies. But yeah. And then you have number 3 there again. Okay. You have Silly Mustache Man breaking out. Oh, shoot. I wanted to scroll a little bit more. That's what okay. We scroll down a little bit. This group of people breaking out. People are interested. People are like, hey, what does it mean to be these things? People are interested. Breakout search. Silly mustache man wasn't so wrong is currently a breakout search. Again, I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying this is a correct take. I'm going to leave that up to you. You can do whatever you want with this information. I'm not promoting Hitler here. Because, I mean, I don't think Nazism was a good thing, obviously, a lot of occult practice in there, if you don't learn history, if you're pro-Nazi, but, yeah, Nazism, very bad, but hey, people are starting to question, was history told exactly like we have been told it was? Because I'm here to break it to you. I'm not a Nazi, right? I don't support this. Nazis, again, occultists, literal human sacrificing, human experimentation, not good things. But we learned a lot of stuff that wasn't so true about the state of Germany, and the things they did. History may not be so accurate. I'm going to leave it at that. And people are starting to question Ben Shapiro breakout because, he had his little freak out that I talked about the other day in a video. White people are like, hey, what's going on with us? Alex Jones breakout. Groypers. You don't know who Groypers are? Groypers are Nick Fuentes followers. 5,000% increase. Big increase. Nick Fuentes is becoming a breakout term. Kanye Nick Fuentes. People are interesting. America First. America First is a breakout term. Why do you think this is? Because people like Nikki Haley are saying, hey, let's go send our young men to go die in Israel. People are like, hey, you know what? Maybe instead of putting Israel first, we should put America first. And maybe we should start to question, why do all of our politicians want to send the young white boys to go die for Israel so badly? Wonder why that could be. So yeah, that's what's going on here. You're having young men starting to notice. You're starting to have them ask questions. You can see all these breakout terms. Groypers, Gab is one right now. All kinds of different things. Number 9. Got my cursor over it. Again, I can't say all these things. You kind of got to look at the screen for what I'm talking about here. Number 9. I wonder why that could be a breakout term. Number 7. Wonder why that's a breakout term right now. Because people are noticing. People are starting to question. People are at risk of having to go and get drafted and die for Israel, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, maybe this country isn't so good. Maybe their history isn't so nice. Maybe this group of people isn't the innocent victims that we've always been learned that they were. And then we learned that they are brutally murdering Palestinians. And then we started to realize, hey, look, in their holy texts, they refer to us as animals. And we were like, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe we should start questioning why our history is being taught the way it is. So yeah, that is pretty much what you have going on here. That's the gist of it. It's no bueno. It's no good stuff. Not the type of stuff that is, Israel doing a lot of things that aren't so great. Not a great country. I hate to break it to you. No, I don't. But yeah, people are noticing. Normies are noticing. If you don't believe me, I just gave you the evidence. Look at all those Google search terms. People are interested. People are curious. People are trying to figure out stuff. People are trying to find other points of view. That's why Europa: The Last Battle has seen a massive increase in search interest. That's why people like Nick Fuentes all of a sudden are trending. Why? Because people want another perspective. People are like, hey, you know all those people that aren't allowed to talk? And you know how they're talking about a group of people that is right now genociding another group of people? Maybe those people that aren't allowed to talk aren't so wrong after all. And maybe there's a reason they've been shut up. And maybe the people that are shutting them up aren't such great people after all. I know, crazy idea. But yeah, people are noticing. That's pretty much my point here. And again, I'm not promoting Nazism as an ideology, right? There are things we can learn from Germany. There are things that we can get from their systems. There were positives, just like any governmental system ever, but there were a lot of negatives. The SS was full of occultism, full of Satanism, full of dark magic, full of evil. Nazism was full of evil. Most of the people that we know about that held higher positions were pure evil, literally devil worshippers. But that doesn't mean that the same thing wasn't going on here. The same thing wasn't going on in Britain. Britain brought on Aleister Crowley to fight against Heinrich Himmler's dark magic or black magic. Go look into that one for a wild tale. So yeah, both sides. I mean, the best argument I will ever give you is both sides were probably evil. That's the best conclusion I've come to at this point. But yeah, people are noticing, people are questioning history, and this is what it took. It took Israel to decide to go and try to. It took first Kanye West being willing to do what he did. It took people like Nick Fuentes. It took people like what's his name? The ANC guy, Ryan Dawson. There we go. I don't know why I forgot his name. Great, pretty solid dude. Atheist though. That's not so great. So yeah, it took people like Ryan Dawson, Nick Fuentes, Kanye West, that group of people who weren't afraid to speak up. And then with all those little hints of knowledge being thrown at the public, and then all of a sudden Israel decides to do what it recently did, literally bombing civilians, people are like, oh, maybe these people aren't so honest and nice and great. So yeah, people are noticing, and yeah, get ready because there's about to be a massive social change. And be prepared for revolution. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We could see some very crazy things could happen now. Because all of a sudden you get a few people noticing and yeah, some wild stuff could go down. So be ready, be prepared. Make sure that you're sticking with a good group of people because you don't want to get mixed up in anything too bad. Stay safe out there, boys. Stay safe. And this isn't a message of hate. This isn't me saying go hate on this group of people. This isn't me saying, hey, you should join a hate group. No, not at all. This isn't me saying all people from this group are evil because that's obviously untrue. It's just saying that, hey, there obviously are some disproportionalities. There obviously is a split allegiance between Americans and Israel. There are a lot of Americans who put Israel first and America last. And it's good that the public is noticing, and it's good that the public is questioning. Because once we start to question our history, that's when we start to make progress. But I'm going to wrap up this video on that note. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share the video. I greatly appreciate it. The only way we can get get this message out there is if you actually help me out and share it. Help out boosting the algorithm. So yeah, I appreciate it. But on that note, I am heading out. So long. Peace out, and God bless y'all.